Very pleasant good evening. My name is Bernard Young, and my task today is to share with you some of my thoughts and my discoveries about leadership, what it is and what it ain't, and it's primarily to help us better understand and comprehend this whole realm of what we call leadership. I'd like to, first of all, say that the focus of the program is about leadership empowerment and nation building. Leadership empowerment and nation building. We rise or we fall based on the presence or the absence of that vital component called leadership. And specifically tonight, for the time that I'm on, the time that I will allot to the program, we're going to be looking at unlocking the keys to authentic leadership. As I said earlier, it's a word that has been misused and abused and plagiarized and misunderstood, and what we've been describing as leadership has nothing at all, in many instances, to do with authentic leadership. The challenge here is that if something is misapplied and misused and abused over the progression of time, and you raise a few generations of individuals who are never acquainted with the thing in its original state and its original reality and in its original context, then the real meaning can be lost over the effluxion of time. What I'm seeking to do tonight is to regurgitate out of the historical frame, bringing it into this present day frame, and hold up the banner called leadership and look at and see it for what it really is versus what it has morphed over time to become, so that all of us, all and sundry, can now see it, recognize it, know it, and then rethink the word in the context of what it is truly in light of the explanations and the understandings that I will seek to flesh out with us tonight. So that is my task tonight, to re-identify and revisit the word leadership and bring it into an understanding in a 21st century context, so that we, in our families, in our churches, in our schools and educational institutions, in our various institutions of society and various organizations that we have, in our governmental systems, in our organizational systems, in our legal systems, in our corporate arenas, in all of the arenas that engage and involve people and move resources, be it human resources, financial resources, physical resources, intellectual resources, information technology resources, all the resources that we can think of. We can now look at how leadership impacts us as a people and is a driving force towards the future, which we all hope to be a bright and prosperous future. I believe it was Albert Einstein who said these words. He said, "The thinking that has brought me thus far, this thinking has created some problems that this same thinking cannot solve." In other words, the mental frame, the mindset, the thinking methodology that have been employed in his thinking about experiments and breakthroughs led him to dead ends, did not create the critical change and the critical mass necessary for new inventions to happen. So he said, the thinking that I have employed thus far has been standing in my way and disallowing me from the new frontiers of breakthroughs that are there waiting for me to be discovered. And it's also said that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again, while at the same time expecting a different kind of result. It's virtual insanity. The dilemma today, the challenge with which I have, is to redefine what authentic leadership is so that we can reframe it and create the empowerment necessary for nation building and what is now necessary with a shift in our understanding to unlock certain keys that give us access to this whole realm called authentic leadership. I wish to say this. Leadership is not based on the amount of money or assets held by an individual or a system. That's not leadership. Leadership is not the effective utilization of resources to create a surplus or a profit. That's management. Management is not leadership. Leadership is not management. Management takes resources and works them in such a way to produce a surplus, a profit. They're used in such a way that the end result is that you're creating more value over time. That's not necessarily, in the context to which I speak, leadership. Leadership is something entirely different. Leadership is not something one can literally learn in a trade school or in university or by taking professional level certification courses. Those things can teach you to be accomplished in a particular vein or area or a discipline. Yes, you can be proficient, you can be accomplished, you can gain degrees of certain qualities and types that exposes you to a plethora of information and knowledge. That's not leadership. Leadership is not status. It's not by appointment or by being even elected or voted to a top position in an institution or an organization. And we see that every day. People get promoted to a point, and then the prevailing circumstances in the operating environment or in the atmosphere are so overwhelming that they are bereft of what to do, what to touch, how to touch it, when to touch it, with a full comprehension and understanding of the circumstances they are facing. We see that every day. We see it in the corporate arena, we see it in the family arena, we see it in the educational arena, we see it in governmental arenas, we see it in business and financial arenas, we see it in all the arenas of life, that people are stuck, they're spinning wheels, they're not certain of what to do because the challenges they face are so overwhelming. And I want us to understand this. Leadership is not based on position. It's not based on bloodline or lineage or entitlement or any other form of human promotion. And all the things I've just said are the many areas of life that we find people garnering and pushing other people to positions of influence and authority that affect many people across many levels, that affect financial, physical, intellectual resources, and we find many times individuals are void of knowing what to do. They are bereft of the spirit of leadership to know how to garner the resources in such a way to create that critical mobility, that critical movement, that energy to catalyze and move progress forward. We know that. We see it in every arena of life. Not only in our Bahamaland, we see it in the region. We see it in the G7 nations, that many leaders are stuck. They're at an impasse. They don't know what to do. And some are just spinning wheels. Spinning wheels. I believe it was Billy Preston or one of those singers, I don't want to time date my age, that says, will we go round in circles? Will we fly high like a bird up in the sky? Will we go round in circles? In other words, it's a circular movement. Around and around and around we go. Where we're going to stop, nobody knows. The ball of confusion that the temptation sung about. The world is in that state right now, and I'm suggesting to you, who are under the sound of my voice, that the missing ingredient is the authentic presence of the spirit of leadership. Oh my God. It's something so riveting. It's something so gripping. It's something so compelling that it agitates progressive change that will release human beings from an oppression of burdensome situation. And we always know that when liberating leadership shows up, oppression disappears. People are liberated. They are energized. They have hope. They have a catalyst in them again to push towards better life, a better dream, a better tomorrow, notwithstanding the plethora of challenges around them, notwithstanding the avalanche of things not going right. They have an inner energy because that inner energy is placed there by leadership. People know when it's there, and they also know when it ain't there. What then? Let us define this. What then is leadership? I want to suggest to you tonight, from my pilgrimage in life, I have come to learn, didn't learn this in the school, I've come to learn, didn't learn it in a classroom. I've learned it through the challenges and the pitfalls and the victories and the failures and the bloodletting of life. Leadership, really, authentic leadership, is a selfless spirit that is not preoccupied with personal wealth accumulation. It's not preoccupied with self-promotion, self-advancement and gain. It is not concerned about that. In fact, the person possessed by an authentic leadership spirit is selfless. It's not about the person, but it's about the vision and the spirit in them that's driving them to achieve what otherwise would remain impossible to achieve without the inner dwelling of that presence within them. Leadership truly is vested in relieving and resolving a condition or dilemma that is, if left unresolved, if left unattended, can possibly result in loss, whether it's economic loss, relational loss, connectional loss, loss of opportunity, whether it's a loss that would put the future on an uncertain path to destruction. Leadership, in the context to which I speak, is something we hardly ever see in our time and in our era. The resulting loss of its absence, if not remedied, will be accompanied by some form of human pain and suffering, human dislocation, and opportunity cost. Leadership is selfless. It is not counting the beans to say, if I do this, what's in it for me? No. It rolls the dice of life and say all on the table, because the vision is so compelling, the vision is so driving, the zeal that's inside the individual pushes the individual past all obstacles and all challenges. And the virus of that individual is a virus carrier. That virus can become a contagion in the people. Yes. Just like COVID-19 was a contagion, it was an invisible force, but you could see its influence in how people got sick. Leadership is an invisible force that stirs people up, and it's a reflection of people's spirit, because leadership is present. They have hope. They dream again. They buy into the vision, and they can move and make what was otherwise impossible now possible. Authentic, effective leadership. For those possessed by that leadership spirit, I am here to tell you, there's a keen sense of awareness and insight that propels those individuals to see a futuristic solution, a vision concerning a current day challenge. It works like this. The person laden and pregnant with the vision sees a sublime futuristic resolution of a current day challenge or a current day problem. The vision takes them into the future, shows them the resolution, brings you back to the present, and now you must go about to lay the track to make that futuristic thing you see a reality. The required initiatives and responses, the answers to the current day challenges, is released to the person through the vision. The individuals that are pregnant with that spirit of leadership always have ingrained in them a vision. Now armed with that vision, that visionary glimpse of the solutions, the leader is now empowered in the present to create the tactics and the strategies that must be initiated and set in motion to effectively mobilize the resources, whether they're human resources, financial resources, operational resources, intellectual resources, technological resources, managerial resources, whatever training and human development must happen, whatever research and new avenues of breakthroughs that must be initiated, discovered, and put in place, that is now activated in the present to effectively remedy the present day challenge, which would be taken care of fully by the vision in the future. It is a restorative energy. It puts something in you. You can be poor, dirt poor, but be possessed by a vision. And it is that vision that must come alive. In fact, everything done great in the human realm, places like Singapore, came about as a result of the visionary leadership. That leadership that was empowered to build a nation. That leadership that was uncompromising, and the keys were released to build want to use it freely. But I'm speaking here about the self-effulgent one, the all-seeing eye of the Almighty, releases his spirit because he is a leader. God Almighty is an alpha leader. And his energy, his spirit, is about building and restoring and repairing and breakthroughs and bringing people to do new things under new levels of consciousness, downloads to new accomplishments, new possibilities, new breakthroughs, new avenues, a whole new possibility. Can you imagine that? In our contemporary world, our current dilemma is really this. In our contemporary world, the high standards of callings of leadership, in many instances, not all, in many instances, such callings as excellence, integrity, sacrifice, commitment, high ethical standards, honesty, fairness, and the like has been lowered or significantly so compromised that it's almost non-existent. Most of what is differentiated and made clear and distinctions between what was mediocre and what was excellent, what was right and what was wrong, those things have been blurred and skewed today. They've been tampered with so much that the standards have been lowered, and we've raised up a generation of persons who have never seen authentic leadership in action and have never been affected and touched by that leadership presence, that spirit. They've never been the receptors of being infected by that leadership spirit. So the standards around us become the standard of our society. And most persons born into what is deviant, over time, what is deviant becomes their reality. Those of us that know better, and there are many among us that know better, have been silent. And the silence is deafening. The institutions have been silent. One of the institutions is the institution of church. The church has been silent. Its lips has been sealed for the most part. Its lips have been closed. And even the good book tells us unrighteousness prevails when righteous men and women say and do nothing. It is tantamount to buying in to whatever his thing is. So this program, Leadership, Empowerment, and Nation Building, and I retort, tonight we're dealing specifically with unlocking the keys to authentic leadership. This program is attempting for us to re-identify the old landmarks, the old standards, the things we used to know, what we used to subscribe to: honor, integrity, keeping your covenants, keeping your word, doing what is right, even to your own hurt, doing what is required to be done that you leave a safe path for generations yet unborn. That's where we really are. And that's the aim of this program. Attempting to touch us, to crystallize in our minds once again, to revisit the paths we used to know and the belief systems we used to have, so that we can unlock the keys and raise the standard of authentic leadership. this subject, and I'm going to go a little deeper. I got the scalpel. I got the gauze. I got the healing oil. I got all the disinfectants and everything necessary that as we cut and let the blood, we seal it with the oil of healing, truth. We got to speak truth to dethrone all of the negatives in our environment and all of the things that have gone awry and are out of sync with good order, good structure, good discipline. So I invite you next week to tune in. Tune in. We just start to open up this juicy wound called leadership, and we're going to explore it, we're going to dig it, we're going to mine it. I mean, we will bake it, splice it, dice it until there's clarity in the minds of our people. And so we can build our nation, build our people, the ethnos, the people I'm talking about when I say the nation. I don't want to build buildings. I want to put up structures. I don't want to be a millionaire. I want to use what God has given me to build and establish a strong foundation so that the future is secure. My name is Bernard Young. My contact, if you want to reach me by telephone, is area code 242-820-7261. That's area code 242-820-7261. And my email contact is B as in boy, Young as in the young and the restless, T as in Tom, C as in cat, I as in island, B Young, TCI @gmail.com. I invite you to write me or drop a line. Let me know what you're thinking. I will respond back. I love it. If you disagree, let me know. If you agree, let me know. I got hog skin. I ain't thin skin. I don't take it personal because I'm driven by what's inside of me. I trust that this program will be a blessing to you. I look forward to seeing you next week. I look forward to seeing you next week on Leadership Empowerment and Nation Building as we continue to unlock the keys to authentic leadership. Thank you so much. And may you continue to be blessed.